Alright, so today went up near the Nashville area. It's about 3 hours from here. And I purchased a Mazda RX8. This one's a 2004. I was building an engine, which is a 6-liter LS. Just finished up the cylinder heads, cam, lifter. I got all the new parts ready to go in. Texas speed camshaft. So I was getting that whole thing ready, and I came across this deal on Facebook Marketplace for an RX8 with an LS in it. To put a transmission on this motor, ECU, drive shaft, exhaust system, radiator, just all the things, it really adds up. And so this one was a really good price and decided to jump on it. Now, it's not perfect. And this is going to be a project in itself, but I thought I would go through and show you the car a little bit. The previous owner put like a Corvette badge on there. It's got some holes in it. Must have had a wing on the trunk at some point. Straight pipe. No muffler at all. It is very loud. It's going to be hard to see this. They put the battery in the trunk and it's held in with a bungee cord, so it's just flopping around. So that's one thing I gotta fix. Gotta fix the holes. Paint is bad most places. Clear coat's just about all gone off the roof. Somebody, looks like they keyed it there, or maybe the guy had kids, so maybe his kids ran their bike across it or something. Interior was filthy. I took some Clorox wipes. I was able to get a lot of the gunk off. Missing some trim. Lights don't work. Hazard button doesn't work. The radio does. Air does not work. You can see the road as you're driving. This short shifter is just really junk. It's really hard to find gears, and the reverse lockout doesn't work very good. So that's one of the first things on my list, because there's literally like dust coming up from the road, just a constant stream of hot air coming up through there, and some exhaust too. So you drive this car and you just stink afterwards. It's got the Ace's Jackpot standalone ECU, and so you can see all your gauges here. It's got a GPS speedometer built in and tachometer. No power steering. When he did the swap, you wouldn't be able to see it here, but he put in a manual steering rack. Yeah, I think it was like a 4-to-1 ratio. And he put in a 2-to-1 ratio quickener in line on the steering column shaft. So what that's effectively done is reduced your input torque on the steering wheel by 50%. So it is really hard to steer. And like, I drove this car twice today, just short little deals around, and my arms hurt. Like, I would need a break for a day or two before I can feel like I can drive this again. Other things, I mean, this is like speaker wire for home audio, just stranded across. There's random wires that are kind of up against areas where they can get cut. Over here, the clutch line is right up against this brake master, and I noticed some nicks on it. It goes through this loop here, which is steel. Same thing, it needs a rubber grommet. Both of these vents on the valve covers are leaking. I wiped it up here earlier, but they're leaking. He's got from the breather into this catch can. I don't think he knew that you have to like open those up and drain it every so often. Because it's like overflowing down there. And this one, the filter top is missing, so you can actually just see like right into the breather can. I might redo that and get a nicer catch can. There's plenty of space back there in the corner. The bigger problem that I found, some stuff like this little coolant nipple is leaking. This pipe right here runs right into this core support, which is a sharp metal edge, and it's starting to actually cut into the pipe there. You can see it goes into the radiator here. You can't see it, you wouldn't be able to see it well here, but that's the clamp there for the output out of the water pump. It basically goes straight into the frame rail below this box. So it's the same deal there. That one's rubbing and it's going to leak at some point. Wiring, you know, finding some stuff's just dangling. I found this. Could have easily ended up wrapped in the belts. I would really love to do a wire tuck, get that harness out of here, get both these fuse boxes out of the engine bay. Maybe do something else with that coolant bottle. And that'll really improve the look of this setup here. Looks like this also has been hitting the hood up here. So I don't know, that's some sort of accident waiting to happen. He removed the ABS, which is normally right down in here, and he kind of built this brake proportioning system. Brakes feel good, the car drives pretty good, other than the shifter's wonky and it's hard to find gears. It needs a tune. The throttle tip-in is delayed and just doesn't feel right. Definitely doesn't feel like the horsepower it should. This has a sloppy stage 2 cam in it, which I think is a 229 duration lift. And this is a 4.8 liter. And from what I've seen, these should make in the neighborhood of like 400 to 420 at the motor. And it doesn't feel like that. I've driven the older F-body Camaros that had like 320 horsepower, the old original LS1, and this should have more horsepower than that, but it just doesn't feel like it. It's just loud. It's got some cheap replica wheels. They actually don't look too bad. It's funny, in pictures I thought they were bronze because they look like this, and they're actually silver. Come to find out, the guy just never cleaned the car. It was filthy inside and out, so it's a project. So my upcoming videos will be getting this thing right. I'm going to take it to get dyno tuned, get a proper tune on it, fix all these problems, get it to where I can run through the gears and really rip on it. And then most likely, if everything's solid, it's not consuming oil, it's not consuming coolant, probably going to sell my 6-liter stuff, all these parts, so then I can put some good coilovers on it. It has coilovers, but they're like some no-name eBay coilovers, and I don't know, they actually feel pretty decent on the street, so maybe I'll use those for a bit. But good wheels, good tires. I've already purchased a muffler and some piping to redo the exhaust to get a muffler on it. But certainly some things need to be done here, wiring and reliability fixes. So still lots to do. Oh, that was the other thing. For the power steering, or the lack thereof right now, a friend has a Civic, kind of the same setup where it was 4-to-1 manual rack. He made it 2-to-1 for autocross use, and he got a electric assist from Super ATV, and it's made for like the side-by-side ATVs, and he actually really loves it. And they just recently came out with a little cube about this size. Goes on your dash, and it's got a plus or minus button, so you can actually dial on the fly to increase your power steering assist. So it sounds really good. I'm going to talk to him a little bit more. He has that, and he also has a S2000, so I'd like to hear what he feels between the two, of how they feel. Because he has had that Civic for a long time without power steering, so he's got like crazy arms now, and so I think maybe his views altered by that experience. But I want to verify that, and it sounds like that would be a good solution for this, because I like the setup that it has. It needs that clearance of the manual rack down there, because the accessory drive is here, and it's trying to, you can see just barely the boot right there. So the rack is sitting right at the front of the motor. And this is a big engine in a little JDM car, so it needs any space it can get in there. This is it. This is the beginning of a little project. These are 275s in the back, and they got a little bit of a tire stretch going on here. Those are 225s in the front. I didn't know this, but these have HID headlights. I assume when I turn them on, I can hear that high-pitched kind of whine that you hear from the frequency of the HID control box. So I'm going to polish up the lenses and put some 2K clear coat on it. I did that with a previous car, and it works really good to provide some UV protection so that the polish work you do actually lasts. And trying to think if I missed anything. I think that's the big stuff. It has an adapter plate. So this transmission's the CD009, which comes out of the 350Z and G35. They have a couple different transmissions, and there's a few years, like 04, 05, 06, somewhere in there, for the 009. And it has triple cone synchros on, I think, gears 1 through 4. So it can handle high RPM shifts, and it's really good. People have taken these transmissions to like 1,000 horsepower, so they're plenty strong for a V8. And being a 4.8 liter, these can go a little bit over 7,000 RPM, where your longer stroke on the 6 liter, it's not great to take them into that RPM range very often. But the setup's got a 6-puck clutch, but with like a regular, well, I'm not exactly sure what they used, but I know the 6-puck clutch disc is what's in there, and it's grabby, but it's also soft enough where you can take off pretty smoothly from a stop. So it's, for a street car, that's great, the drivability. And then today I put it on a flatbed trailer, and coming off the trailer, it yanked the bumper off. So I gotta fix that. That one was me. So, all right, that was long-winded, but give you a full picture of the situation, and hopefully I can have some updates as I go through the project and some running video. All right, stay tuned for more. Thank you.